Uh, Hello everybody. Today's lecture on three-phase controlled converters or three-phase control rectifiers. This is another unit, that is the third unit, unit 3, three-phase controlled rectifiers or converters of AC to DC. These are also called three-phase AC to DC converters. Here, we previously discussed about the single-phase controlled rectifiers or converters. Single-phase controlled rectifiers having that those are used for low power capability or power capacity. That is low power applications. So we are using the single phase control rectifiers. But if you consider, if you go for three phase control rectifiers, if you go for three phase rectifiers, here for any industrial applications, if you go any industry, there is using that three phase AC, three phase AC. Okay, why? Because the availability of supply is to be three phase AC supply, not on that single phase AC supply of a low capacity. So while going for that three-phase AC supply, the most of the industries are used this three-phase motors for running the loads for product manufacturing units or any process industries. So many industries are there. They require some DC current also. DC current also. That is nothing but DC motors also running that industry. Therefore, there is a possibility of using that three-phase controlled rectifiers in the industries. Here, what are the advantages? If you consider the advantages of using three-phase controlled converters, the advantages of using three-phase controlled converters over single-phase controlled converters are the advantages of using three-phase controlled converters over single-phase controlled converters are the same as possessed by three-phase diode rectifiers over single-phase diode rectifiers. These are advantages which we are comparing for with respect to three phase and also the single phase. The next one, you may know all of you know that three phase supply, three phase AC supply. Here, these three phase controlled rectifiers use line commutation, or it is also called a natural commutation. Line commutation or natural commutation for turn off the thyristors. For turn off the thyristors. Here, the three-phase delta to star transformers were used that the delta to star transformers employed for delivering power to three-phase converters. For three-phase converters, here all the three-phase controlled converters use line commutation. Here, these what I am telling the points are not in the slide, but I am telling from the outside. Okay, so these are also important points. All the three-phase controlled rectifiers or converters use line commutation for the turn off the thyristors. Turn off procedure is there for thyristors. So that's why for turning off the thyristors, there is a requirement of a commutation, nothing but a type of the commutation we are using. We're having different types of commutations, line commutation, natural commutation, forced commutation. Okay, class A commutation, class B, class C, like that. So we will use different applications of the circuits, different commutations. Okay, so here in a three-phase control rectifiers, we use that line commutation. Okay, and come to this slide. Here, the three-phase control rectifier operate from three-phase AC supply voltage. Three-phase in the sense means it should be a 440 volts and it should be a frequency of 50 Hz frequency and power rating should be high value. Operate from a three-phase AC supply voltage, they provide higher DC output voltage. Suppose for if you use it that single phase, if you use suppose single phase, there is a output voltage to be getting is to be 200 volts or 220 volts. But if you go for a three-phase means you should be the three-phase output voltage, the DC output voltage should be higher value, that it should be 400 volts, moving up to 400 volts. That is depend upon the required voltage by the motor while running within the industry, within the industry application, type of the motor that is placed to run that motor with respect to the voltage, with what value of the voltage. It is a DC voltage 400 volts or DC voltage 220 volts, like that. And next one, it is the higher DC output power. Higher DC output power. From the three-phase control rectifiers, we are getting that higher DC output power, and higher output voltage ripple frequency. Higher output voltage ripple frequency also getting. There is a ripple voltage also there. Actually, for a single phase, there is also a ripple voltage. But if you come across this, if you come across the if we come across the three-phase supply, there is also more ripple voltage. But you have to filter out these ripples. Therefore, filtering requirements are simplified for smoothing out load voltage and also the load current. There is a filtering circuits are provided with respect to the circuits of LC filters. Okay, by using of these LC filters, therefore, we are getting that output voltage with a smooth and stable value, and also load current should be a constant value. Okay, next. These three-phase control rectifiers extensively used in high power variable speed industrial DC drives. Okay, this is the important application. Extensively used in high power variable speed industrial DC drives. If you observe one of the video, we within the video class, we observed one video that is related towards the induction motor, the induction motors. Okay, here if you go for an induction motor, the speed is suddenly stops with respect to the load, and that is nothing but type of the application. It should be depend. Okay, suddenly it stops the motor and suddenly increase with respect to torque value, high torque value. Okay, so these are the important points. Therefore, a variable speed industrial DC drives are used by using of these three-phase control rectifiers run by these control rectifiers. Okay, three single-phase half-wave converters can be connected together to form a three-phase half-wave converter. This is one of the important feature for the three-phase control rectifiers. Here, these here the three single-phase half-wave converters can be connected together to form a three-phase half-wave converter. Okay, this is one of the feature of three-phase control rectifiers. Next one, three-phase half-wave converter. We're having different types of classification is there. Three-phase thyristor converters may be classified actually, that is a 3-pulse converter, 6-pulse converters, and also 12-pulse converters. There is a classification. Okay, 3-pulse converters, again three-phase or 3-pulse converter is the both have same meaning. 3-pulse converter, 3-phase converter, but there is a half wave and also the full wave. Half wave and full wave operation is there with RL load, continuous and constant load current operation. This is one of the classification. Another classification is to be 3-phase half wave converter, 3-phase half wave converter, full wave converter with RL load. And also we have that freewheeling diodes also. Okay, without freewheeling diode, with freewheeling diode, how the three-phase control rectifier can be operated. Okay, so and another important pulse converters are 6-pulse converters is also there. We have 6-pulse and also 12-pulse. Okay, here 6-pulse converters include 3-phase full converters, 3-phase semi converters, and 6-pulse midpoint converters. Okay, 6-pulse converters include 3-phase full converters, 3-phase semi converters, and 6-pulse midpoint converters. Then we observe that one by one. First one is the 3-phase half-wave converter or 3-pulse converter with RL load of a continuous and constant load current operation. And this is the circuit of a three-phase half-wave converter or thyristor converter feeding RL load. Feeding RL load. Actually, R load is also there. R load is also there, but we doesn't require any that. Why? Because R loads we on single phase we observed that. I will give in the PDF notes. But if you observe, we have that RL load. By using an RL load, how the three-phase converter can be operated. Okay, here the load is here having with a RL. Within the load we placed that RL. Here the load inductance is to be large. Load inductance within this load inductance is to be, I am telling that load inductance is large, so that the load current is continuous and constant. Load current is to be continuous and constant. I am actually in the previous sessions also explained about the inductance value. When having a minimum inductance value, there is a current discontinuous manner. But if you go for inductance of a higher value of the inductance, if you have, therefore, with respect to the higher value of the inductance, here the current is to be having a continuous manner, continuous, and it should be a constant manner with respect to the inductance. Therefore, the load inductance is having that L value is to be a large. Therefore, the current wave is to be a constant and continuous manner, which will be observed in the waveforms, output waveforms. Here, if you consider, this is the star connected circuit. Within the star connected circuit, here each phase is to be connected with each single thyristor T1 and T2 and T3. That is phase A, phase B, and phase C. Three phase. And here delta to star, it is the star, and it is the secondary winding. That is, if you connected a transformer, suppose if you consider a transformer in the single phase, if you observe, in single phase half wave converter we studied that, and this is the okay. Just I'm reminding yourself. This is the primary. That is, suppose it is the voltage applied here. Okay, this is the secondary winding. This is the primary winding and the secondary winding. Now I am drawing secondary winding, and I am placing that one thyristor here. This is the thyristor. With respect to thyristor, and load is to be connected. That is the RL load first, and next one is to be L load. Actually, this is a single phase, primary and also secondary, and thyristor 1 is to be connected, and this is the R load, and this is the L load, inductance. Okay, RL load. Okay, here now we show with only secondary winding, not with a primary winding. Here the primary is connected with a delta connection. In the first slide, I explained about that the transformer is to be connected with the delta to star nature connection. The delta to star connection. The primary winding is connected with a delta. Okay, here we are placing with a three-phase supply is giving that with a delta connection. Okay, and here this is the primary. With respect to the primary winding, here we are applying the supply voltage. Okay. Okay. Here I am not shown with a primary connection. Okay, but it is also a three-phase. Supply, and this is the primary, and this is the secondary. This is the secondary. And this is the primary connection. Okay, I am not shown with a primary connection. And here, whenever the supply is given, what happens? Whenever the supply is given of a three-phase AC supply, therefore, with respect to the supply and also the triggering pulses given towards the thyristors T1, T2, T3. Initially, for a single phase half converter, only one thyristor is placed. with respect to one phase, one thyristor is placed. Therefore, in series to the load. But here three thyristors are having. With here, three thyristors are triggered at a time. Okay, that is three thyristors are pulse given firing pulses towards the thyristors by using a gate firing circuit. Okay, so that's why with respect to the firing pulses or firing triggering pulses given towards the thyristors and also apply voltage, therefore the current is to be moving towards the load. Okay, I naught is a addition of IA, IB, IC values. Okay, here if you go across the waveforms, if you observe the waveforms, how the working nature can be observed. Here the vector diagram of the three-phase AC supply voltage should be VAN, VB and VCN has been drawn, that is up to 120 degrees, having a displacement of 120 degrees. Okay, VRN is equal to VAN and VYN is equal to VBN. Nothing but it should be drawn for star and delta. We are observing that star. Why? Because the secondary circuit has to be connected with a star connection. Okay, this is the neutral point. Therefore, it is a star circuit, star connected circuit with respect to the load value. Why? Because the load is to be must and should be requires a current towards the return path, towards the neutral. Okay, so how the voltages of waveforms we can observe. The three-phase supply voltage equations, how the voltage equations can be write for line to neutral voltages. Here, line to neutral voltages shown with VRN, which is equals to also VAN, that is equals to Vm sin omega t. Vm is the maximum phase voltage, Vm sin omega t, and also next one. These are drawn from this vector diagram. Okay, if suppose it is the red one, VAN has been considered. Suppose it is starting from the 0 degree and total it should be 360 degree. Therefore, VAN is equal to Vm sin omega t initially. Therefore, next VBN or VBN or VYN, Vm sin of omega t minus 2 pi by 3 or 120 degrees. 120 degrees. It should be 120 degree with respect to VBN and VCN. Okay. Vm sin of omega t minus 120 and also Vm sin of omega t minus 240. It can be written in the form of minus 240 or plus 120. The VCN can be. These equations are the line to neutral voltages equations. Those are drawn from written from the vector diagram. Okay. First one VAN is the Vm sin omega t and second one is the Vm sin of omega t minus 120 and third one is the Vm sin of omega t minus 240 or Vm sin omega t plus 120. Okay. Next, okay. Come across these switching waveforms. How the waveforms for output voltage with respect to the supply voltage and also how the output current we observe here. Here, if you observe, this is the supply voltage. Here, line to neutral voltage has been shown VAN, VBN, VCN. Okay, and this is the VAN 0 to pi. Okay, next one VBN, next one VCN. Okay, those each waveform should be displaced with 120 degrees of the displacement. Okay, then if you go for which thyristor can be turned on first initially and next one and third next one. Why? Because not only single thyristor or not only two thyristors, we are having that three thyristors T1, T2 and also T3 with respect to the three phases. So that's why if you consider at alpha is the triggering angle, if you consider this is the alpha, which is the triggering angle, is a pi by 6 value. Okay, pi by 6 value, that is alpha is equal to 30 degrees. If the triggering angle is considered for 30 degrees, triggered at 30 degrees, therefore if you consider at V is the voltage and the alpha firing angle has been applied towards the thyristors, therefore at pi by 6 if you consider, and here the voltage can be applied. Next, Here, initially T3 will be turned on here. Actually, T1 has been turned on at this period. And before, why? Because the VCN, if you observe, the VCN has been coming from this. Here we're getting negative. Before that, we're having a positive. Okay. If you observe here, I will show with here. If you observe, this is the VAN and this is the VBN, and also this third one is the VCN. Okay, here if you VCN is to be considered here. Okay, next why VCN and T3 will be turned on means here the VCN voltage, that is voltage waveform across the C phase, has started before the zero line. That is, if you have a negative means here the VCN should be like this. That is a zero before it should be started. So that's why, so that's why here we consider that T3 is turned on. T3. So that's why first T3 will be turned on. Therefore, up to a time period, up to what time period should be pi by 6 plus alpha, pi by 6 plus alpha. Okay. So the next after a T1, thyristor T1 will be turned on. Thyristor T1 will be turned on. These are the negative peaks which we are getting. If there is no inductance, therefore the waveform should be comes towards the zero across here and not going towards the negative line. Okay, due to the inductance presence only, there is a there is a negative peak across the output voltage in the negative side. Okay, here if you consider first T1 again T1 turned on and after the T2, therefore the VA and BBN voltages are occurring. Okay, and this is the VCN voltage. VCN voltage is before 0 to before, it should be 0 degree before there is having value or amplitude. Okay, so that's why T3 is shown with a first turn on, next after T1, T2, T3 again T1, like that. Okay, this is the output voltage for the three-phase half-wave rectifier of using RL load. Here pi by 6 is the considering as the starting value, firing angle alpha. Therefore, after that it should be fired at pi by 6 plus alpha. Pi by 6 plus alpha. Again 2 pi by 6 plus alpha. 2 pi by 6 plus alpha, like that. Okay. And next we can observe about the current waveforms, output current. Here, how the output current should be. Here, if you consider the I naught value, constant load current, with respect to the continuous operation of a constant current, nothing, the waveform should be constant in nature, constant load current in nature. So that's why shown with a constant line. Nothing but the output is not coming towards the zero and again should be rising like that. It is in a discontinuous manner, but it is a continuous manner. Okay, next, if you come across the thyristors, which thyristor will be turned on and which thyristor will be turned off. Here, if you consider IT1, suppose first thyristor 1, here thyristor 1 is triggered at pi by 6 plus alpha. Pi by 6 plus alpha. And next it will be turned off at 5 pi by 6 plus alpha. 5 pi by 6 plus alpha. Again it should be nothing but next thyristor will be turned on at 2 pi by 6 plus alpha. Okay, like that. Each thyristor each thyristor of the each phase can be turned on at a pi by 6 plus alpha. Okay, this is the turn on time period. Okay, total turn on time period, and this is the turn off time period. Okay, if you observe, this is the total time period of the first thyristor. Therefore, current moving towards the thyristor T1 should be shown with an amplitude. IA is equal to IT1. Next, how can you derive the expression for the average output voltage of a single three-phase half-wave converter using RL load for continuous load current? Means here, if you observe, the thyristors are triggering, nothing but at what degree it should be triggered. Therefore, this is the shown with T1 is triggered at omega t is equal to pi by 6 plus alpha. Pi by 6 plus alpha. That is, we know that pi by 6 is equal to 30 degree. 30 degree plus alpha. Okay. And T2 is triggered at omega t is equal to 5 pi by 6 plus alpha. That is 150 plus alpha. 5 pi by 6 plus alpha is the 150 degree plus alpha. And T3 is the triggered at 7 pi by 6 plus alpha. Okay. These are the waveforms which we observe in the waveforms at triggering angles. Pi by 6, next to 5 pi by 6 plus alpha, next to 7 pi by 6 plus alpha. That is, each thyristor conducts for 120 degrees. Why? Because if you observe that vector diagram having that, within the vector diagram, the conducting period is to be 120 degrees. That conducting period is to be 120 degrees. Okay. So that's why that each thyristor can be conduct for 120 degrees or 2 pi by 3 radians. 2 pi by 3 radians. Next, if the reference phase voltage, first reference phase voltage is anything but VAN. Within the vector diagram, if you observe VAN and VBN, VCN, VAN is considered as a reference value. The reference phase voltage is VAN is equal to Vm sin omega t. The average or DC output voltage for continuous load current is calculated using this equation. Here VDC is equal to 3 by 2 pi. Actually 1 by 2 pi for single phase 2 pulse if you go for 2 by 2 pi. Now it should be 3 phase. So that's why 3 by 2 pi of integral pi by 6 plus alpha to 5 pi by 6 plus alpha and Vm sin omega t d of omega t. How this can be calculated with this expression gives that output voltage value. Output voltage value. Okay. Here this can be solved with integral sine minus cos, and if you apply this pi by 6 plus alpha and pi by 6, we got that 3 Vm by pi 2 by minus cos 5 pi by 6 plus alpha plus cos 5 pi by 6 plus alpha. And next, by solving this equation using the trigonometric expression or relationship, we get that output voltage. We got that output voltage of VDC value. That VDC value is equal to 3 Vm by 2 pi of root 3 cos alpha or 3 root 3 Vm by 2 pi of cos alpha. This is the average DC output voltage. Okay, 3 root 3 Vm by 2 pi of cos alpha, or it can be written in the form of line to star to delta. We know that line, okay, phase to line, we know we have the values. That is V line is equal to root 3 V phase. Okay, V line is equal to root 3 V phase, or V phase is equal to V line by root 3. We know that equation expression. Therefore, that root 3 Vm can be written in the form of a line to line supply voltage. V line is equal to root 3 Vm. So that's why the output voltage is getting that 3 VL by 2 pi of cos alpha. This is the average output voltage expression in two forms. Okay, how can you derive the expression? Means if you observe, they are integrated with respect to sine theta, integrated with respect to intervals of pi by 6 plus alpha to pi by 6 plus alpha. Why? Because this is the conducting period, and it should be multiplied and applied the trigonometric relationship cos A plus B in the form of cos A plus B cos A cos B minus sin A sin B, and these are solved by solving these equations. Therefore, we are getting that finally 3 Vm by 2 pi of cos 2 cos 30 cos alpha. Okay, and cos 30 can be written in the form of root 3 by 2. Therefore, 3 Vm by 2 pi into 2 into root 3 by 2 cos alpha. Finally, we got that 3 root 3 Vm by 2 pi of cos alpha, or if it will be in a line, means 3 VL by 2 pi cos alpha. This is the output expression for the average value of a DC output voltage of 3-phase control rectifier. This is a half wave control rectifier. Next, if you go for a maximum value, means maximum average output voltage. When will be occurring the maximum value? When alpha is equal to 0. When alpha is equal to 0 means cos alpha is equal to 0. Therefore, it should be 1. So that's why the maximum average voltage can be getting that 3 root 3 Vm by 2 pi value at 3 root 3 Vm by 2 pi. Okay. And the normalized average output voltage can be also getting that at cos alpha, VDC by VDM. VDC is equal to this much value. VDM can be, VDC is that 3 root 3 Vm by 2 pi cos alpha. And VDC by VDM means we are getting that only cos alpha. This is the normalized average output voltage. And how can you solve the RMS value with expression? RMS value of the output voltage. Okay, if you observe this, the RMS value of the output voltage is equal to 3 by 2 pi integral pi by 6 plus alpha and 5 pi by 6 plus alpha to Vm square sin square omega t d of omega t square root of. Okay, and the final expression is to be, RMS value is to be 1 by 6 plus, root 3 Vm 1 by 6 plus root 3 by 8 by cos 2 alpha rho under root. Okay, this is the, and RMS current value is also we are getting, current expressions also we are getting, RMS voltage also we are getting. And next one, three-phase half-wave control rectifier output voltage waveforms for all RL load at different triggering angles. Suppose triggering angles are changed. What happened? Triggering angles are changed. What happened? Okay, this is the trigger, when triggering angle has been changed at alpha is equal to 30, alpha is nothing but, up to now we observed that alpha less than 30 degrees only, or alpha is equal to 30 degrees only. What happened when alpha is equal to 60 degree or 90 degree or 120 degree? Okay, here if you observe, here the average output voltage which we are getting is to be, for at different triggering angles, alpha is equal to 30 degrees. At alpha is equal to 30 degree, here alpha is equal to 30 degree. This is the firing angle. Okay, here we fired at 30 degree. Okay, here I am not within the diagram, we are not shown here, but here it is the firing angle. This is the firing angle. And here also, here it should be 60 degree. Okay, at 60 degree. Here if you observe here, at alpha is equal to 30 degree, it should be fired, and therefore there is a waveform, that is supply voltage should be for a negative C phase. If you observe for a C phase, there is an amplitude. So that's why the voltage amplitude should be shown with a, like this. Okay, and this is the 60, 180 minus 60, 120. Each thyristor can be conducted to a period of 120 degrees. So that's why 60 at 180, again 180, again 300. The difference is to be 120 degrees. Okay, and if you go for alpha is equal to 60 degree, if you go for an alpha is equal to 60 degree with a firing angle 60 degree, what happens? Here alpha is to be fired at 60 degree here. Yeah, here if you observe, when the firing angle has been increasing, alpha is equal to 30 degrees, here no negative peak, no negative peak. At alpha is equal to 60, there is a negative peak, that is alpha greater than 30. Okay, this is the, then if you go for again 90 degree, the peak value has been increased, the peak value has been increased. And again if you go for alpha is equal to 120 degrees means, here if you observe, this complete positive half of amplitude should be reverses towards a negative, nothing but the which we observing on the alpha is equal to 30. When you apply with 120 degrees here, this positive amplitude should be changes towards the negative side. Okay, that is the amplitude change in value with respect to increasing the firing angles. Okay, here the firing angle is alpha is equal to 60 degree. So the amplitude of the output waveform should be coming across towards the negative side with a negative peak, and again should be increasing. Okay, and next one, at alpha is equal to 90 degree, here at alpha is equal to 90 degree, therefore the triggering angle, the firing pulse has been given with alpha is equal to 90 degree. The output waveform can you observe here with a more negative waveform. Okay, more negative. And these are the waveforms for different triggering angles, and also we and also we are not used any freewheeling diode here. Within the next class, we go for the applying of a freewheeling diode across the RL load. Then what happened towards the average output voltage and also the RMS voltage, and how the waveform should be occurring of output voltage and also the output current we observe. Okay, within the next class, coming class. And this is the today's class of average output voltage and also the RMS value of expression for the voltages and also the currents for a three-phase half-wave controlled converters using the RL load. Okay, I hope all of you understand about this half-wave three-phase half-wave controlled rectifier using RL load. If you go for an R load means R load, you have to now today you have to yourself you have to write down the expression for R load also, no problem. R load also. There is no negative peak of the output voltages. That is the difference only. Okay. In the next class, we go to discuss about that three-phase half-wave control rectifier using freewheeling diode and also full-wave rectifier. Okay. Thank you.